Two brand new Carnival LR EZAs, but how should you build the hidden potential for AGL Kai Goku and Int Kid Gohan? How's it everybody? Kelskling here. We got another Dokkan Battle video for you here today. We have the Carnival EZA for the AGL Kai Goku and the LR Int Kid Gohan, the first ever anniversary Carnival LR EZAs, and in this video we're going to break down their best hidden potential builds. So let's start with the Kai Goku. So looking at this guy, right, he essentially serves the same purpose as he did before, with everything dialed up to 11. He now activates an entrance animation on his entrance turn, gets key 4, attack defense 159%, and a chance to perform a critical hit 20%, and guards all attacks for 7 turns. He gets damage reduction rate 20% and for 1 turn, and gets 259% attack and defense and key +4. He also launches an additional super attack. When attacking, he gets 100% attack, and when receiving attack, he gets 259%, and when HP is 59% or more. He also has a chance of evading enemies' attack 80% when HP is at 59% or less, and survives KO attacks once within the turn. When receiving a Key Blast super attack, he has a 70% chance to nullify and counter with tremendous power. For every attack received or evaded, he gets key 2 up to 6, chance for one critical hit 20% up to 59%, and attack 100% up to 300%, and defense 100% up to 200%. If HP is 40% or less at the end of the turn, he will recover 59% HP, or, right, once only, he will fully recover. His active skill, no changes there because we don't typically change active skill, but it will massively raise his attack temporarily, cause ultimate damage within the turn activated, and all attacks become crits. Now, it can be activated when 59% or less, or when there's another Earthbred Fighter's ally in the same turn starting from the 5th turn. So, right? Previously, he was a pretty decent slot 1 unit, and he could still do that after he stacks up defense for about a turn or 2, right? His Ultra Super Attack does greatly raise his defense, and does raise his attack for 4 turns, but not so much on his 12 key. So, right, his real design comes into play in the 2nd or 3rd slot, right, which comes out through this part of his passive here, where basically he can attack while he's building up, and should he get hit by a massive attack that would cause death, he will survive it, and then he has an 80% chance to dodge following that. So as long as the rest of your team, right, this is what makes the ability really good in the 3rd slot, because you don't have to worry about anybody else taking chip damage that would potentially kill them. But he would basically survive it and then heal you once fully when that happens, and then after that 59%. So knowing that, we actually want to build really to maximize his maximize what he's doing here, which is really the healing support. That's where he comes in here. So we can see here when we look at the hidden potential system as an AGL type, he's going to naturally lean into additional attack, getting a potential of 20, which means a 40% potential, right? If you have the skill orbs, like good skill orbs, you can potentially push him up to 60%, right? With 30 there. And you can actually go even higher, pushing him over 60, but that 60 is still good. That's you know, with standard equips, that's what you're going to be seeing. So recommended hidden potential build for the Goku, we are actually looking at something a little more like this, leaning fully into those additional attacks, right? Not because he is stacking, right? Normally with stackers, you want to do that because his stacking only occurs on his 18 key. So the additional attacks aren't helping there. Where the additional attacks are helping is in that heal recovery, right? The more he does, right? If he potentially launches 2 extra supers, you're healing an additional 20% on top of that 59%, assuming you've already procced the full HP recover, right? And this, so the additional attacks really, really help there. He doesn't really need the crit, as he gets 59% built into his passive, along with the extra 20 that he gets during his entrance passive. So crit's not really all that necessary for him, especially when you also consider his active skill turn gives him critical hit. So in that case, right, no investment on the critical hit side. You can dump the rest of his hidden potential into dodge, right? Giving him 6 dodge. It's only a 6% chance, but hey, it's a nice to have. Now, I will say that another potential build is simply flipping the numbers, invest fully into dodge, right? Where you give him 15 dodge for a maximum of 15% and dump the rest into your additionals, right? So 11 additionals. So 15 and 11, you could go there. And that is just assuming you're not really too concerned with the additional heal. But I find that the additional heal and the additional build would actually be kind of nice for him, right? To work out. As far as his special equips goes, right, he does not have exclusive equips, so in order to get good equips for him, you're going to have to grind out the Whis event, or if you have any potential Goku's family equips or something, Pure Saiyan's equips lying around. But you basically want to invest in any equips that will potentially raise his maximum defense, right? Because his defense is quite high, and without that guard or damage reduction post entrance, right, you're definitely going to want to have that additional raw defense for him. So any equips that increases additional defense, right? For the sub, right, so you want the defense, right? Now the other two can be either additionals, right, or dodge. Both do exist, right? Dodge and defense, or additionals and defense. Either one work for him, right? So if you did the dodge, this would, with let's say a level 5, right, that would bump this up to 16 dodge here with this build here, keeping the 20 additional, which is really good actually for him, right? It kind of makes him a little well-rounded for most situations. So right, that is Kai Goku. Very basic build, really playing into his new strength, which is that healing potential. So let's take a look at the Kid Gohan now, right? So Kid Gohan is really interesting, right? Because he's more similar to what he was before than Goku was, right? Goku sort of had his role shifted, but this guy remained relatively the same, right? He has an interesting animation that he activates upon his entry turn, gives him key 4, attack defense 158%, 20% damage reduction, and launches an additional attack that has a 70% chance of becoming a super attack for 7 turns. He also guards all attacks for 1 turns. He gets key 4 and attack defense 258%. And launches an additional super attack and gives superclass allies key 3. I really like that ability, mainly because of the new Goku. Now, when attacking, he gets attack and chance for 1 critical hit, 58% when 58% or more, and launches an additional super attack when 58% or less. Now, when receiving an attack from an enemy who is hit by his own Ultra Super, damage reduction rate 50%. So 50% damage reduction if you get the 18 key on a on the boss. Now, for every attack evaded or received, he gets up to 6 key. Chance for one evading enemy's attack, 58%. Attack 100%, up to 200%. And defense 100%, up to 300%. So he builds real nicely, right? But he is a stacker who builds up on getting hit, which is interesting. But, I mean, that's kind of what he was before as well. Now, his active skill can be activated when 58% or less, when there's another Bottom Master and Disciple ally attacking in the same, or when there's a Bottom Master and Disciple attacking in the same turn within the 5th turn from the start of battle. So pretty standard for the active skill. So where things really get interesting for him is on his Ultra Super Attack and his Unit Super Attack, right? So his standard Ultra Super Attack is greatly raising attack and raising defense, right? So stacking attack and stacking defense, causing colossal damage to the enemy and raising superclass allies attack by 30% for 1 turn. However, if you activate the Unit Super by either attacking with a Goku, Krillin, Yamcha, or Tien within the turn, right, you'll still get the greatly stack attack and raising defense, but what you will also get is a 30% attack raise for allies for 2 turns. Now, even better, though, if you manage to do it with a Piccolo, right, now attacking him within the same turn, now not only will he do all of the same, raising for 2 turns, the attack actually becomes a a the attack actually becomes an AoE, which is really really good for managing fights like Rose Masu and a few others, right? So really really helpful there. So given that, and given how he kind of wants to work as a as a sort of semi-stacking unit, we can see that as an int type, right, he will naturally lean into dodge, but like the Goku, right, he's going to gain a little more benefit by leaning just a tad bit more into the additionals, right? And that is mainly just for that extra in the turn defense, right? And that's especially helpful, not so much once he's got a couple of stacks in, like once he's got a couple of turns of stacks in, this isn't such a big deal since the stack is mostly on the 18 key. But for those early turns, those additional attacks that he can potentially proc are better. So 15 additionals on the Kid Gohan here, so full additionals, and dump the rest into dodge. Now, since he's an int type, he's going to have that natural 5, which will give him a potential 11, right? So again, this just sort of helps him for that within the turn defense, continuing his survivability. Like the Goku, you could swap it and lean more into the dodge and less into the additionals. That's a personal preference, although I do find the additionals more helpful, right? Just like with the Goku, no special equips for the time being as of me recording this video. So again, same sort of build because again, they have a similar structure. Any equips that naturally lean into their defense. For Gohan, for his for his equips, I do recommend going for the additionals. Like I said, the additionals in his case will benefit him specifically more than benefiting the team as a whole. But of course, again, personal preference, you could also lean into dodge equips. There are dodge defense equips that do exist. So you use what you have to fill that out for him, but mostly if you're going to want to get good equips for him, you will have to grind that Whis event for some good equips. So um, that is my recommendation for both Goku and Gohan. Again, full additional builds with sub dodge. You could switch them up to a more dodge centered build. That is personally up to you. I find that the additionals will be slightly more helpful to them, especially with the Kai Goku with that additional heal on his 12 key. So, guys, that is it for the video. If you like the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let us know, how will you build your AGL Kai Goku and your Kid Gohan? Right now, you have the potential to change their stats due to the hidden potential system being one node to change at the moment. So definitely take advantage of that if you want to switch them. If you're, this is your first time pulling them, then have at it. You can build them any way you please. But let us know how you decided to do it in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching and aloha.